What's up, everybody? Thralls Metal here once again. I'm Necrotic.
I'm Jammin John.
And we have yet another album review for you. And, well, this one's maybe like a little bit early. This doesn't officially release until next week, but there's a lot of stuff coming out next week. And I really wanted to have time for this one just because I've gone over their other two albums and they've both been a lot of fun. So today we're going to go over the latest offering from Morbific, Bloom of the Abnormal Flesh. This comes out on the 25th of April on... well, it depends on what format you're getting it on. If you want it on vinyl, it'll be on Misako Un Ocho. If you want it on CD, it'll be on Memento Mori. And if you want it on tape, it'll be on Head Split. And if you just want to stream it or, listen to it digitally like a boring person, you can do that too. This band formed in 2020, year of our COVID in Finland. And this is their third album overall. I got into them with their debut, Ominous Seep of Putridity, and then I reviewed Squirm Beyond the Mortal Realm. All of their album titles and song titles are just absolutely wonderfully gross. And for those that don't know, this is just positively rotten old school death metal. Like, I dare this to be more filthy, but I'm afraid if I do, the next one might just be like a pile of snot and pus with Morbific just written on it.
Yeah, this makes Pigpen's house look like a ultra clean, sanitized hospital room. Like, there's no way to describe how absolutely filthy this is. I have never heard this band, although I'm pretty sure I've heard of this band. I don't think you can get anywhere in death metal nowadays without hearing absolutely filthy death metal. Like, you just can't. Like, if you put on a playlist on Spotify, I mean, these guys have to come up at some point. So I'm not going to state that I've never heard this band before, but this would be my first album listen. And, it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. It's probably one of the filthiest, heaviest things I've heard this year.
Yeah, this album would pair wonderfully with MRSA, staph infection, maybe some gangrene. It is raw. It is disgusting. It is death metal in like its crude oil form. Like, it's still chunky. It's still unrefined, but man, is it still death metal. This is just riffy and gross throughout. And honestly, in a way, like, at least compared to the other albums, I feel like this band is definitely getting better, at least in terms of like riff construction. The swampiness and disgustingness, that's just kind of part of the charm. That's just how this is recorded. This was actually mixed by their vocalist and bassist, Juuso Jahonen. I'm sorry, I probably already screwed that up. And mastered by Mikko Sastamoinen.
Perfect.
Yeah. Anyway, he's worked with Hooded Menace, Solothus, and, well, kind of a spin-off from this band, Sadistic Drive, which very similar, very much in the same vein of just riffs and goopy, grimy, just disgustingness. And honestly, the first thing that I thought of as soon as the opening track, Smut Club for the Chosen Scum, I joined chess club in high school. I didn't know this one was available.
But if you were in chess club in school, there was definitely smut because, well, you were the chess club, and let's be honest here.
It was pre-internet, though, so it was like magazines and shit.
Yep.
But the instant vibe I got was like walking into my degenerate buddy's basement while they're either jamming or playing death metal on like a old boombox. It sounds grainy and distorted. The whole vibe of the room, if you can make it out, because it's a dense haze of cigarette and weed smoke. There's like a spilled bong somewhere in the room. Someone definitely farted. That sort of vibe. We've all partied there before. But listening to this, it sounds like a live recording.
Yeah, I mean, it legit feels like you walked into somebody's basement. It really does. And the band is playing on the crappiest amps possible. And the drum heads all have duct tape all over them. And the band is just jamming. Like, I felt like I was legit like sitting on an old crusty dirty couch just being like, yeah man, cool.
What the fuck is this stain? Never mind that stain, bro. It's fine. That is like the vibe and the setup, at least in terms of like the production here. When it comes down to music, this is just rooted in like the filthiest of death metal. Like, think bands like Autopsy, of course. Like, this honestly sounds like, Broken Hope covering old Autopsy songs.
Yeah.
In a gross, seedy basement. But also like early Cannibal Corpse, definitely bands like Cryptworm, Stenched. Like bands that just don't care about like making it sound pristine at all. They just want the grimiest, filthiest, just grossest sound possible, but they also want the riffs to back it up. And holy shit, does this album have riffs. Every single song on here is just packed with just filthy riffs, but it goes kind of beyond just like the caveman stuff. Like, it's definitely got caveman energy. There's some serious ooga booga energy on songs like Hydraulic Slaughter or From Inanimate Dormancy. Lots of hefty chugs and just kind of just gross, heavy, swampy, lurching riffs.
From Inanimate Dormancy, I'm going to be honest with you, it's one of the heaviest things I've ever heard. Like, there's no way to describe how heavy that is. I literally wrote, fuck me, shit, this is heavy. Like, it's just the lip curl and just like, it doesn't get any heavier than that. I really don't think it does.
Yeah, my lip was curling as like an automatic reflex, like, blinking or breathing. I couldn't help it. Like, some of these riffs, just instant stank face. The only other thing I could have done to possibly, like, tribute these songs, a little bit better would be to, like, throw up in my mouth.
Yeah, I don't know. And then, as if that wasn't heavy, and fuck you guys for making me say this song title. I'm telling you, Nick's pet peeve is interludes. My pet peeve is becoming incredibly long song titles, especially when the song is so goddamn good like this one is. Womb of deathless deterioration, trapped in the essence of putrescence. The song itself, for the most part, is filled with everything else that's on every other one of these songs. Really catchy riffs, you get two stomps, you get D beats. I like that this band uses blasts as like a seasoning.
Yep.
It's not the fastest thing in the world, but let me tell you what. Towards the ending of this song, it gets into doom, which is awesome, but then they halftime that doom, and it becomes almost funeral doom, and it is also one of the goddamn heaviest things I've ever heard.
Yeah, when they let this guitar tone ring out, like, there's this just kind of gross sizzle, like they deep fried all of the instruments in vomit. But the thing that baffles me, well, not really baffles me, I mean, I've been listening to this band for years now, is they make this absolutely putrid stuff catchy. Like, there's a lot of, like, fun intricacies to their riffs. It's, again, not always just, like, caveman riffing and shit like that. Like, there's some clever melodies and clever harmonies every now and then. Not a lot of leads, which, I mean, the leads that show up are just, like, kind of dive bombs. They just sound gross. They fit the atmosphere of the music. But the riff work is clever in itself. Like, menagerie of grotesque trophies. There's some really killer, just, like, lead harmonies in there, or like just harmonized riffs in general. But rhythmically, I think this band is a ton of fun because it's constantly shifting around. Like, bass line, tons of groove. Like, you are just going to headbang your ass off to this. But they like to switch up to D beats. Again, those little pockets of blast beats, slow crawling, lurching, more doomy moments. The end of Womb of Deathless Deterioration, trapped in the essence of putrescence. That's a fun one to say. And the beginning of Crusading Necrotization. Man, that descending riff drags you into a pit of probably festering slime, bones, and just random organs.
I swear to you, in the beginning of Crusading Necrotization, they are channeling direct Morbid Angel. If we're not talking about moments from Blessed Are the Sick or moments from Covenant at this point in the game, I don't know what we're talking about, because that's what they're channeling there. This record is not full of things like tremolos either. For the most part, it's just really chuggy and these super cool crawling riffs. But in that song, as well as the song after it, From Inanimate Dormancy, there are some tremolos that they use to just hearken a bit more evil than they already are.
You still get a lot of like good double time grooves in here too, like stuff that's, very much in line with like Obituary, Bull Thrower, like just good chuggy riffy sections. And this band does something kind of fun in terms of the production or the atmosphere in here. Like, the production itself, raw as shit. Like, I feel like I've seen this band live after listening to this. Even though I'm reasonably sure if I saw this band live, I really wouldn't see them because their hair would just be draped over their face and it'd just be like just ogres kind of growling over instruments. There might be some like vomiting on the microphone or something like that. I don't know. I haven't seen them live yet.
Nope.
But this captures that vibe in terms of it just sounding so raw, but it has like splashes of effects to kind of give it like a little bit of extra charm. The vocals, that's where I kind of picked up on it like the most at first, because the vocals will pan around a little bit. Like occasionally they'll be doubled. Occasionally they'll just get louder out of nowhere. And occasionally you'll get like some weird effects on them. But that's also on the guitars too. Like the guitars, when they're not just doing that sizzly, heavy, chuggy tone, you get these weird underwater effects and like some very haunting clean playing. Like you get a little bit on the interlude track, stifling, stagnant reek. These are fun to say. They really are. But occasionally throughout the song, like you get these pockets of atmosphere that just kind of give it this weird, unsettling vibe, even though I would just describe this album as pure fucking fun to listen to. Menagerie of Grotesque Trophies has a very creepy, odd sample from a movie about, I don't know what they're doing in that. There's something about like peeling flesh or something. I don't know. It's appropriate for the album, totally.
Yep.
But Womb of Deathless Deterioration, Trapped in the Essence of Putrescence, I feel like I just have to say that entire thing every time. Just because of the whole little rhyme scheme at the end. But that one has like these weird chants that kind of come in, and it just phases out of the background. And the samples and like the extra atmosphere is equally as grainy as like the rest of the production here. So it doesn't feel like it's just kind of like out of nowhere, like it doesn't fit at all. It fits the entire vibe. There's occasionally like horror synths that show up too. But baseline, I would say like this is muddy, but in a good way. Like everything you hear is what they want you to hear. Like nothing feels like it's buried in the mix. Like even the bass, when it gets a chance to be a little bit isolated, you can make it out. It sounds swampy and fucking rotten, but you can totally make it out. And the fact that things kind of move around in the mix, like, they will isolate one guitar, bring in the other one, which generally that second guitar just sounds, like that. And then combined, it's just an absolute wall of filth. But I just kind of like how this kind of like navigates around like so many fun old school tropes.
Yeah.
Hydraulic Slaughter. It opens up with a two-step, like, syncopated chug. Like, it's the full-on meathead waltz. Just watch them circle in the pit and punch each other.
I mean, just watch a bunch of cavemen just fucking two-step. I mean, it's just this the whole time. You can't help but do that with your fist when you listen. It's just, you got no other choice but to stank face and just beat someone into submission. That's, I think, what they wanted.
I was this close to throwing feces at John.
Dude, he threw a fucking cough drop at me.
What?
I mean...
Be thankful it wasn't poo.
I mean, I needed a cough drop, but there's no way to know that. But yeah, I mean, it was that heavy, dude. It just invokes violence, but like fun violence. Like, I didn't want to kill anybody, but man, I wanted to just... Blah.
Yeah, for as like sinister as some of the riffs get, because there are like some flat out just like creepy, swampy, disgusting riffs on here. There's this looseness to it. Like this is like B horror movies, beer and 100%. Pizza, and I love that vibe. Or we were even discussing this after we listened to it. Like this is like being a kid and then just going out and getting fucking dirty for the sole purpose of just getting dirty.
Like as dirty as humanly possible. Like I used to do it as a kid, man. You jump in a mud puddle and you're like, all right, fuck it, I'm already dirty. Let's see what happens. And just slime and dirt. And you're like, all right. And then you go home to mom and you'd be like,
And then you get your ass whooped.
Yep.
Well, maybe. Yeah, just find the neighborhood kids and say, hey, you want to throw like mud and rocks at each other for a while? Like, fuck yeah, we do.
Okay.
We're not bright. Let's do that. There's always something on here to kind of just, I don't know, keep it fun. Like whether it's a weird groove or just an extra swampy, disgusting riff. The title track, well, technically it's Bloom of the Abnormal Flesh, and then parentheses, a travesty of human anatomy. That one has what I would call like the slimiest swagger to it. Like that groove that opens it and that weird crawling, almost atonal riff. Like I feel like they were just finding notes. It's like, yeah, all of these don't make sense, but they work.
Well, and there's an extra static over it too, at least in the beginning. Like it's so heavy that I don't actually know if it's the mix or if it was bottoming out the speaker, but like it was extra staticky and just extra heavy. But yeah, there are some really catchy, like, dissonant harmonies going on in there. And there's a lot of catchiness. The whole record, every riff is catchy because of how it crawls and how it moves. Like, I got a lot of big Demolich vibes from that. They keep it entertaining.
And it isn't all, like, very groove-based. Like, there's some faster songs in here. Like, the last track, Slithering Decay, is, like, punky. It's more DB-driven. Same thing with panspermic blight, which I actually looked up panspermic, or rather panspermia, expecting to find something spermy.
Yeah.
Turns out it's just about like the planet being populated by things from the rest of the universe. It's not nearly as gross as I thought it'd be.
What a letdown.
I know, but luckily the song was absolutely filthy, but it has like good thrashy pockets to it. There's some like good brutal accents in the blast beat sections too. Like that one has like a little bit more in the way of blast, but they kind of break it up with these like just big single hefty chugs. Baseline, the only thing I have heard this year that might be more rotten and disgusting than this is Pissgrave, which I don't think any band should try to rival that band in terms of rotten and disgusting. In terms of any negatives on here, again, I'd be kind of hard-pressed to find it because I found all this immensely enjoyable. It did take a little bit for the production to kind of settle in for me, but I kind of probably said that about the other two. Like, this is really raw, disgusting death metal. But once it did, which honestly, first track, and the next track, like, yeah, I think I got this now.
Yeah.
I was firmly just kind of in this album's gross tentacles or whatever they had.
Right.
I don't know, like, yeah, it was just enveloped by it. It's just a fun riffy jam. The songs do stand apart. There's really good, solid riffs to break them apart. Even the interlude, I can't really bitch about it because it sets up the next song well. Stifling Stagnant Reek goes right into Crusading Necrotization really well.
Yeah.
Like, it repeats the same melody, and that melody carries over, and it just gets even more gloomy and dense and swampy.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's like, diving into a fucking swimming pool full of entrails.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't really have any negatives either. The production caught me a little off guard. I was like, man, this is about as raw as it gets. Like, it sounded like you were watching them live, but you videotaped the set through like an old shitty cell phone, and you're only getting like little snippets of shit. Like, that's what it sounded like, and it took me a long time to settle in. But to be honest with you, by the time I got to the third or fourth song, I was hooked. So overall, to be quite honest with you, I'm going to give this record 4.5 stars. This record whoops ass. It is, bar none, some of the heaviest stuff I've heard all year. I mean, it rivals a lot of things at this point in the game. Like, it is nothing but filthy and disgusting, and the fact that most of it is pretty mid-tempo or slow. There are some blasty moments, but again, they're used as seasoning. The riffs are entertaining. There's a lot of melody here, all things considered. Like,
all things considered.
Yeah. They just know how to construct songs and how to make them just as brutal and as heavy and as gross as possible. As the record goes on, it gets more filthy as the record comes along. You don't get things like the doomy moments until you get, 7-8 songs in, and by that time, it's such a welcome thing anyway, because you're like, I wonder how much heavier and grosser this band can get. Oh, right. I got it. Just like this. Bottom line, if you guys are fans of bands like Phobophilic, Demolich, 200 Stab Wounds, Autopsy, Tribal Gaze, Death, Immolation, Maul, stuff like that, give this a whirl for yourself. Again, grossly impressed, and gross doesn't really cover it because gross is this album. So.
Oh, this album's covered in gross.
Yep.
Honestly, I feel like I need to take a shower after listening to this.
Yeah.
I am going to go ahead and give it 4 stars, bordering again on that 4.5. I don't know if it's quite there. I definitely want more listens with this, not only because, I want to absorb this album more and all its pus-filled glory, but this also was like a ton of fun to listen to, so I just want to listen to it again. Mm-hmm. This is, again, death metal in its most raw, disgusting form. It's kind of bare bones in terms of like, doing anything flashy, but at the same time, there's a lot of fun intricacies to it, despite it being primal as fuck. It is rotten, but in like the best way possible. Like, this is, again, on par with bands like Impetigo and like Cryptworm and Undergang. Mm-hmm. It's got those vibes. Like, this cares nothing about sounding pleasant to anyone other than fans of death metal, and specifically fans of death metal that really want the gross stuff, because this is the gross stuff. This album might sound grosser than this album cover looks, which all their album covers look pretty damn gross. Like, just sculpted things out of entrails. That's kind of their thing. Yeah, I ended up loving every track on here. The album flows really well. Riffs, my God,
Riffs.
riffs for fucking days on this
Riffs.
thing. Yeah, if you like any of the bands that we brought up here and you're just an old school death metal nut and you want to kind of go back before death metal learned how to talk and walk, you're going to just grunt into a microphone and that's it.
Yeah.
Listen to this album. It's fucking awesome. So if you enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up. And if you were new to the channel, subscribe because we do stuff like this all the time. We also have memberships. They are only 99 cents. And our lone perk is doing a members only live stream, which we will be doing. I don't know. We might have already done it. I don't know. We're trying to figure out a day to actually do this.
We're not good at this.
I know. I'm busy with other projects. Again, you'll be seeing some of them in the future. But memberships are the main way to support the channel now. We also still have our store, thrallsvinyl.com, with our t-shirts and hats. That is linked down below. And if you would like to join this channel and become a member so we can talk about gross, disgusting albums like this, yeah, or like your favorite horror movies or like, you know, whatever like weird fucking scene in a movie. Like, you remember when that dude in Poltergeist peeled off his face in the mirror? What the fuck was that? Wasn't that movie PG? Yes, it was. And back in the 80s, PG didn't give a fuck. But yeah, we can talk about shit like that. But yeah, you got to join up to do that.
But of course, whether or not you join, that's totally up to you. We are just thankful that you are here, that you have subscribed and liked and commented, and you keep us moving. Like, without you guys, we wouldn't be anything but two assholes in a basement talking about metal, which we were going to do anyway, but you guys have turned this into something fucking awesome, and we're very appreciative. Tons of stuff coming your way, album reviews, discography rankings. We got At the Gates coming up next. We have a new segment we're about to unveil that kind of works in conjunction with the discography rankings. That's going to be super fun and very interactive for you guys. It'll give you guys a chance to be a bigger part of what we think, which is cool. Tons of metal stuff all the time. Once again, that we do all for you guys because we appreciate you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, you guys absolutely rule. Tons of content coming your way. So one more big thank you because you guys are awesome, and we will catch you later.